Our top story, the EFF has vowed to intensify its campaign against click stores across the country following a controversial online advertisement. At least 3 click stores have been petrol bombed or damaged in Emalahleni in Mpumalanga, Alberton in Johannesburg, and in Polokwane in Limpopo. The EFF has distanced itself from the attacks on the stores. The party claims labeling the hair of black women as dry and damaged undermines the dignity of black people. Among their demands is that Clicks SA reveal the names of those behind the controversial advert published by the company, which caused a social media uproar. EFF leader Julius Malema says the apology by Clicks must be accompanied by justice. He's outlined the party's demands for click stores, saying corrective steps need to be taken over a controversial online advertisement.
We are here to say to Clicks peacefully, racism is violence, and the only way to defeat violence is through violence. And we are here peacefully. We are saying to them they must close the whole week. They will open from Saturday because they value money more than humanity. They projected us in that way because they wanted to make more money out of projecting black people as people who cannot be celebrated, and their beauty is not befitting of human beings. So we are here to say to them, since you wanted to make money at our expense, we are going to make you lose money because you worship money more than humanity. We wrote a letter to them. We asked them peacefully, do not close, do not open for the next 5 days. They refused. We said to them, suspend the person who was involved in this advert. You must dismiss a company that commissioned this advert. They refused to give us a list of the people who were involved in the advert. They refused to terminate the contract of the company that was involved in projecting black people as ugly people. So we are here to teach them a lesson. We will not be here if the management here at Mall of the North of Clicks commit that they will not open until Saturday. They will open from Saturday. If they do not commit, we are going to come back here every day, and they are inconveniencing the mall and other shops. I don't know why other shops are closing, because there is no need to close other shops. We are fighting against Clicks. We don't know what police are doing here. Because in South Africa we have a right to protest. Without permission, we require no permission to protest. We are not mad people. We are reasonable people. We are members of parliament. We make laws. We don't make violence. Azangara sukela Clicks in or sukela nje, and they know every time they provoke black people, they will apologize. And some wishy-washy blacks without a backbone, some amubas will say no, Clicks has apologized, therefore let's leave them. That is the highest level of stupidity of the black elite, which wants to behave like white people. We are not white, we will never be white. White people insult us and then they apologize, they think that is the end. We are no longer going to accept any apology which is not accompanied by justice. We need justice, not apology. Who is punished for projecting black people as ugly people? Who is punished for that? That's what we are seeking today. We want someone to be held accountable. Someone must lose his or her position. We don't care whether it's black or white. They must lose their position for insulting black people. We are here peacefully. We are saying to Clicks, South Africa, close your shops. If you want peace, you don't want problems, close your shops until Friday. Then there will not be any problem with clicks. If you don't want to close your shops, clicks, suspend the people who are involved in projecting black people as ugly people. Fire the company that commissioned that advert which projected black people as ugly people.
Meanwhile, in the northwest, EFF leaders shut down 3 click stores in Mahikeng. EFF members outside one of their stores at the Crossing Shopping Center chanted slogans against the undermining of the dignity of black people.
Clicks must just do a simple thing, respond to our demands as the EFF, and then from there on everybody will go back to work. So we can't use COVID-19 as an excuse. What we are saying is that just respond to what the EFF has called for. For instance, we said, the company that you have commissioned to produce this racist advert, it must be fired. The employees and the board of directors who participated in this racism advert, they must equally be fired.
Well, in light of the events surrounding the Clicks advert, there's been outrage on how offensive the campaign is to black people. This brings under the spotlight the approval processes of adverts that border on racial lines and how their messages can be conveyed without being offensive. Joining us now is Nomazibulo Tshanga, an HR specialist and founder of Ziyana Business Consulting and Training. Good afternoon and thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Colin. Colin.
All right, we seem to be having an audio problem there. I hope it will be sorted. But firstly, let's just go straight to the issue of racism and advertising. What are the brainstorming and approval processes of production of an advert that should not be offensive at all?
Colin, it is important for any approval of an advert that is going to be commissioned to go out in the public, considering our diverse, scenario in South Africa, where we've got a diverse group. So it's important for anything that's going to go out that may have a reputational damage on any company to go through very tight and stringent approval processes. The approval processes are take it as starting from, for example, a head of mine, then down to a senior employee signing the approval, and eventually to the executive employee that then this advert to go out. So those should be the type of that any organization for things that will be going out to the public. So definitely tight approval processes.
All right, so let's start with the junior personnel. Those who are coming up with the initiation of the advert, what is your assessment of their level of thinking in terms of what is right and what is not before they can escalate it to the seniors?
Of course, Colin, there's what we call Section 9 of the Constitution of South Africa, where it prohibits, discriminatory behavior or any discrimination against gender, race, and skin color, and then I would extend it to, skin, hair texture, etc. So any person staying in South Africa should have an understanding of the discriminatory type of behaviors that are prohibited by Section 9 of the Constitution of South Africa before they are employed in any organization. Once they get in the organization, it is important then for the organization to ensure that they properly onboard their employees in terms of the code of conduct of that employee. That speaks broadly to the organization and corporate culture and the value system that are embedded in that organization. Once the onboarding process, takes place, an employee must have a sense of what is accepted, in terms of advertising, and especially when things are going to go out in the public and that have a potential of a reputational damage. So in that sense on its own, that employee should have known that this is a discriminatory behavior. And just by looking at that advert, I can already see, the difference of those two hair textures, and the fact that one represents, the good hair represent a white person, and the bad hair represent a black person. So of course you need to have a social sense of the diverse, country that we live in.
All right. So now as we go up the ladder, surely it should have been nipped in the bud if the juniors made a mistake or the juniors lacked understanding of what racism and an offensive advert could be like. What about the managers now? How dare do they let something like this go through? How do they approve such an advert if their juniors could not discern that it was offensive? How come the seniors did not observe that there could be something wrong with it?
You are quite right, Colin, that once the junior comes up with this advertising program that needs to be executed into the public, there's strict approval processes that need to go in place, like your senior managers. Probably it will need to be like a sort of a junior manager, senior manager, and then the head of that department. So I am not sure how this advert missed that process and how this advert was approved up until the level of the senior managers. But I can tell you now, in the approval process, everyone needs to account, and they need to be held, accountable for the insensitive of this racist remark that has come out to the public.
All right, so the demands of the EFF, are they spot on? Do they have a case on the table, especially when they say an apology is not enough, they want justice? And of course, wanting to know the names of these people, and there has been a question. People are saying that they also want to know the race of these people.
Each and every organization has their own, company policies and procedures. However, I think Click South Africa to do themselves justice just by applying two principles. The first principle should be the fact that the junior people or the people that were involved in the approval processes should be held accountable through an internal disciplinary process that will probably need to be communicated to the public to say that this is what we have done and this is the outcome of the disciplinary, because this affects now the public. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they need to put in place measures and controls so that they avoid any reoccurrence of this type of racist behavior, and make sure that their processes are stringent and they've got quality control. Of course, implementing what they can call it a risk management strategy to manage such reputational damage into their brand. But they need to account the people that have done this, and they need to come out and inform the public that these are the steps that have been taken, internal processes in terms of discipline are in place, and this is the outcome at the time of the outcome, so that we can put this to rest, even though I know that EFF is advocating for the name of, or rather the race of the junior employee that executed, this advert going out. So I cannot say entirely it is right or it is wrong. It depending on the Clicks, social media policy and who needs to be accountable.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for making time to speak to us right here on our program. This is Nomazibulo Tshanga, who is an HR specialist and the founder of Ziyana Business Consulting and Training. Moving on to